Okay, so I developed a molding system that fits into a toaster oven right here. So I have the toaster oven on and it's warming up. It takes about 20 minutes to warm up, maybe 15. And I put it on 350 degrees. So this system, I have various thicknesses of mold frames, and I chose round just because I wanted it to be different than other people's. And so what I'm going to do is I have to make a mold of this Weiner dog. And so this is the master of an original carving of mine. So what I got to do is I take talc and I put it on, I call this the mold holder, and then I have the mold frame and I put talc on the inside of that. And so this system will work with many kinds of mold rubber. I mean, you can use just about everything except the kind you pour in. So what I do is it's important that you have your hands clean, and then you peel off the paper on these, and you have to kind of stretch out the edge. And so on the bottom piece, we take talc and we put it on there because we don't want it to stick to the mold frame. Then you want to wipe your fingers off, push that down in there. And we get the second piece. Got to make sure we get all the paper off. Okay, so the second piece, again we squish out the edges. This piece we don't put any talc on because we want it to adhere to the bottom piece. So this size mold frame takes about 5 pieces. So what I do next, I have 2 on the bottom, and then I have a brass sprue, and it goes through a hole and it fits into a sprue cone. And then I can slide in the sprue as long as I need it. So I have, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add talc onto here because I'm going to make what is known as a powder separation mold. Much easier. It's a great way for the beginner that doesn't want to, say, use an X-Acto knife. They have to cut it apart. So what I'm going to do now is I'll put my Wiener dog ring in here and I'll push it in there. Now, I also have, these are called mold locks. And the mold locks get pushed into the mold rubber. And what they do is they help align it after the mold has been made and taken apart. And so we're going to put 4 in here. Just like that. And you want to have them be about maybe 1/8 of an inch at the closest to your piece. And you also want to keep them away from the edge, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So now we got that. So the next thing we want to do, got to wipe off the hands again, is this ring, or on most rings you want to get a piece that goes up into the inside of the ring. And this one has, underneath the head, under here it's open. I've hollowed it out so it wouldn't be quite so heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more talc down inside the hole. And then we're going to take and fit the mold rubber up under the head there, and then push it down into the ring there. Now this particular piece, we want this clean right here. so that when we put on the next layer of mold rubber, it doesn't, we want it to adhere to this so that when the mold is taken apart, the insides here pull up with the top layer. So now what I'm going to do is grab another piece. Now what we want to do is we want to add talc to the edge of this. And looking around here, I seem to have misplaced it, so I'll be right back. Okay, it was in my shop there, so I have a container with talc in it, and so I want the center to be nice and clean, but I'll take and I'll add powder just to the edge. Just like that. And so now the center will hook onto that once it's vulcanizing. So then we take this and we push it down in there. This is a very soft mold rubber here, and so it works really well at pushing it down around the piece. You can get more firm piece mold rubber in case you want to do big flat pieces, but for something that is got some shape to it, you want to use more of a easier to squish mold rubber. Okay, so now get another piece here. Take all the paper off. You want to squish out the edges. No powder on this one. Push that down around there. Now remember, my toaster oven is on and it's warming up, and I want to get it up to about 350 degrees on the toaster oven. Seems to work almost ideal. So now we're going to take another piece here. So 3 are going to go on the top. And I chose 3 on the top because it has the nose of the dog that's sticking up, and I don't want it to pop through the side of the mold rubber. So now we have our last piece. Now what's important here is that the mold rubber stay on the inside of the mold frame here. You don't want it spreading out. Okay, so now at this point we can take the talc and really heavily put it on there. And then we have the top of the mold frame, and that gets talc. Okay. Now these mold holders, the ones that people buy, actually have the same size bolts on them, but I ran out the other day, so I stole one off of here and ended up having to put a short one on for my demo. So we're going to crank these down. You want to crank them down even. Okay. There we go. So at some point you can turn it on the side, and there's going to be quite a bit of mold rubber up here, but as it heats it'll go down into the mold. Tighten it down really good. Okay, that's about it. So at this point it's going to go in the toaster oven, and it's going to be in there for about 50 minutes, maybe an hour since it's so thick. So let's see here. There's my toaster oven. You could use a glove. It doesn't seem to be too bad. Put it in, now it's ready to go. And that's it. Thank you.